The drum beats began before sunrise. By the time the first guest arrived, Aduka's compound was already awake, swept, watered, and smelling of fresh earth. The 7 houses stood in a proud curve, their doors open like obedient mouths. Children lined up in washed clothes, feet bare, eyes sharp. The wives moved between kitchens and courtyards with practiced grace, bangles clinking softly, smiles fixed like ornaments. Aduka stood at the center, hands clasped behind his back. Straighten your shoulders, he said without raising his voice. The children obeyed instantly. Today, he continued, no one embarrasses this family. Yes, father, they answered together. He nodded once, satisfied. Namukala, he called. The first wife stepped forward, her wrapper neatly tied, her face calm in the way only years could teach. Yes, Aduka. See that the elders are seated closest to me. They already are, she replied gently. I placed them myself. He studied her, searching for something. Defiance, perhaps. Finding none, he looked away. Akini adjusted her headscarf, watching the exchange from the corner of her eye. She still speaks like she owns the place, she murmured to Sabina as they arranged calabashes of millet beer. She was first, Sabina replied softly, eyes lowered. There is honor in that. There is dust in that, Akini said, and dust settles. Sabina said nothing. She pressed her lips together and whispered a prayer under her breath. Near the cooking fire, Nalongo scolded one of her twin boys. Stop pulling your brother's ear. He started, the stronger twin protested. You are older by minutes, not wisdom. Nalongo snapped, then softened her voice when she noticed Aduka's gaze drifting their way. Go, stand properly. The weaker twin lingered, eyes downcast. Nalongo leaned close. Do not cry today, she whispered. Your father is watching. Zainab stood apart, slicing onions with careful precision. The tears came easily. No one questioned them. Why don't you come closer? Mirembe asked quietly, appearing beside her. Zainab shrugged. I stand where I fit. Mirembe studied her for a moment. That is a dangerous place. Zainab gave a small smile. So is hoping. A ripple of excitement passed through the compound as visitors poured in. Chiefs, elders, distant cousins, men with loud laughter, and women with curious eyes. Praise names followed Aduka like smoke. Father of many, pillar of the clan. Your house is a blessing. Aduka received it all with a calm smile. Bring the wives, an elder requested. Let us see the wealth of the household. Namukala clapped once. The wives assembled shoulder to shoulder. Amara stood at the end, young and radiant, a hand resting unconsciously on her swollen belly. She glanced up at Aduka, searching his face. He met her eyes briefly and nodded. Her smile widened. Akini noticed. Her own smile tightened. Ah, an elder said approvingly. 7 women, yet peace reigns. Yes, Aduka replied smoothly. A household reflects its head. The wives echoed polite laughter. Behind the sound, Mirembe felt the tension coil tighter. Sabina's fingers trembled slightly. Zainab shifted her weight. Nalongo's twins glared at each other. Namukala stared straight ahead, her expression unreadable. Later, when the guests were busy eating, Aduka pulled Akini aside. Your sons were too loud, he said. They are boys, she replied. Strong boys. They must learn restraint. They are learning, she said carefully, but strength needs space. Aduka's eyes hardened. Do not teach my sons what I did not ask you to teach. She lowered her head. As you say. When he walked away, her jaw clenched. Near the water pot, Amara whispered to Namukala, he smiled at me today. Namukala looked at her then, really looked. Yes, she said quietly. He smiles when it pleases him. Amara frowned. You make it sound small. Namukala placed a hand over Amara's. I make it sound true. As the sun dipped lower, the drum softened. The guests praised Aduka one last time and began to leave, satisfied. When the compound finally emptied, the smiles disappeared like borrowed clothes. Aduka clapped his hands once. Good, he said. You did well today. Relief flickered across the wives' faces. Then his voice sharpened. Remember, what happens in this house stays in this house. Silence answered him. Children were herded away, fires dimmed, doors closed. Behind each door, different thoughts bloomed: resentment, fear, calculation, hope. And in the center of it all, Aduka lay back on his mat, convinced, utterly convinced that his house was strong. Outside, the drums fell silent. Inside, the war continued. Before Aduka became a name spoken carefully, he was just Aduka, son of no consequence. He grew up in a house that leaned when the wind was angry. His father traded cattle badly and blamed everyone else for it. His mother learned early to stretch porridge thin and silence even thinner. Aduka watched more than he spoke. He learned that men who talked loud were often hiding empty hands. It was Namukala who noticed him first. She sold groundnuts at the edge of the market, her laughter easy, her eyes sharp. Aduka came often, not to buy at first, but to listen. You don't bargain? She told him one afternoon. You just stare. I'm learning the prices, he replied. She laughed. Then you will be rich one day. Only the poor rush. That sentence stayed with him. They married with little ceremony. No cows, no drums, just two families shaking hands because neither had much to lose. At first, Aduka was soft. He came home early. He asked Namukala about her day. When she was tired, he cooked badly and apologized for it. At night, they spoke about dreams like children whispering secrets. I want a house that does not lean, he said once. I want children who never sleep hungry, she answered. They believed love could be enough to build both. Opportunity came quietly. A traveling merchant noticed Aduka's patience. You listen too much, the man said. Come with us. You might be useful. Aduka followed caravans, carried loads, counted sacks. He learned that knowledge moved faster than goods. He learned which chiefs lied, which panicked, which hoarded. During a bad season, he watched grain rot in one village while another starved 3 days away. This makes no sense, he told Namukala one night. She shrugged. Sense is for people with full stomachs. That was the night Aduka stopped thinking like a poor man. The famine came the following year. Aduka bought grain early, cheap, quietly. Namukala helped him store it, arguing when he doubted himself. What if they curse us? He asked. What if we starve waiting to be kind? She replied. When hunger tightened its grip, Aduka sold grain back, carefully. Never too much, never too cheap. Chiefs praised him for saving the people. That was the first time Aduka tasted power. He did not sleep that night. With wealth came eyes. Men invited him to sit closer. The elders laughed at his jokes. Women looked at him longer. His name started arriving before he did. You have changed, Namukala said one evening, half smiling. I have grown, he corrected. She said nothing, but something in her chest tightened. The second wife came as advice. You need alliances, an elder told him. One woman cannot carry a rising man. Aduka resisted at first. I love my wife. The elder laughed. Love does not protect reputation. When he told Namukala, she went very quiet. So, this is what wealth asks for, she said. It is only a marriage, he replied. You will always be first. She nodded because nodding was easier than breaking. With each wife, Aduka became less present. He began measuring affection, timing praise, withholding touch. He noticed how jealousy sharpened obedience. When Namukala questioned him once, only once, he looked at her differently. Do not speak to me like I am still poor, he said. The words surprised them both. After that, he began correcting her in front of others. The younger wives came faster, beauty first, then blessing, then novelty. Each marriage added something: sons, cattle, influence. Each one took something away. He stopped laughing easily. He stopped explaining himself. He stopped apologizing. When a wife cried, he waited for silence instead of comfort. Our household needs order, he told Namukala after the fourth marriage. Softness invites chaos. She looked at him for a long time. You were soft once, she said. And look how far I have come, he replied. That was the day she understood. The man she loved had survived, but the man he became was ruling now. Years later, as Aduka stood in his perfect compound, people praised his discipline, his success, his wisdom. Namukala watched him accept their admiration and thought of the boy who once feared an empty granary. She did not miss that boy. She mourned the man who believed love and wealth could grow side by side and chose power when they could not. And Aduka, surrounded by wives, children, and respect, never once asked himself what the cost had been, because some men mistake survival for greatness and never look back. Morning arrived in Aduka's compound the way it always did: quiet, careful, already alert. The children gathered near the main yard, some rubbing sleep from their eyes, others wide awake and restless. No one spoke loudly. Laughter was for later, for corners where Aduka's ears could not reach. Line up properly, Akini snapped at her sons. Are you goats? They were pushing us. Nalongo's stronger twin shot back. You pushed first, Akini's eldest son replied, stepping forward, chest out. Nalongo hurried between them, forcing a smile that never reached her eyes. Enough. Today is not for fighting. Every day is for fighting, Mirembe's son muttered under his breath. She placed a firm hand on his shoulder. Inside voice. He sighed but obeyed. Namukala watched them all from her doorway. She knew each child by footstep, by breath, by the way they avoided or sought one another. She had raised some when their mothers were still learning how to hold them. Her eldest son, Kalema, stood apart, tall, quiet, watchful. He had Aduka's eyes but not his hunger. Come closer, she told him. I'm fine here, he replied. She studied him. You cannot stand between worlds forever. He looked toward the main house. I don't want his world. That frightened her more than ambition ever could. Sabina's children arrived last, freshly washed, their clothes neat to the point of stiffness. Greet your brothers, Sabina whispered sharply. They did. Akini's sons barely nodded. Do not worry, Sabina murmured to her daughter as they moved away. Humility is a shield. Her daughter asked softly, does father like humble children? Sabina hesitated. God does. Near the water pots, Zainab helped her daughter tie her dress. Why don't they play with me? The girl asked. Zainab's hands paused. They don't know you yet. I was born here. Yes, Zainab said gently, but you are still learning how to survive here. The girl frowned. Will father teach me? Zainab swallowed. Your father teaches many things. Not all of them are kind. Amara emerged slowly, her hand resting on her belly. The children watched her with curiosity and resentment. Another son, Akini muttered, as if the ground has not been fed enough. Amara heard. She turned, her voice shaking but clear. My child has not done anything to you. Akini smiled thinly. Neither have mine. Yet here we are. Namukala stepped between them. Enough. Aduka's voice caught through the air before the tension could thicken further. What is this noise? Silence fell instantly. The children straightened. The wives bowed their heads. Aduka surveyed them all, measuring, weighing. Kalema, he said, come here. Kalema obeyed. You are my first son, Aduka said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Yet you hide at the back like a girl. Momo stared. Kalema clenched his jaw. I was standing where there was space. Aduka's eyes narrowed. Do not answer me with excuses. Namukala's heart raced, but she kept her face calm. Father, Akinyi's eldest son interjected quickly. Kalema prefers books to people. Aduka turned to him. And you prefer noise to thought. The boy stiffened. Mirembe watched carefully. This was how wars began. Small words, large wounds. Later, as the children were dismissed, the wives gathered near the cooking area. Nalongo exhaled sharply. These boys will kill each other one day. Not if they fear their father enough, Sabina said. Fear is not order, Zainab replied quietly. Akinyi laughed. Easy to say when your child is not in the race. Zainab met her gaze. Is that what this is to you? A race? Akinyi leaned closer. Everything here is a race. Amara shifted uncomfortably. Do we really want our children to grow up hating each other? Namukala looked at her sadly. They already do. We just teach them how to hide it. That evening, Aduka summoned Mirembe. You keep the children quiet, he said. I like that. I teach them to listen, she replied. He nodded. Listening wins battles. She chose her words carefully. Battles end. Families remain. He smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Only if they are controlled. That night, doors closed one by one. In Namukala's house, Kalema stared at the ceiling. In Akinyi's, sons whispered plans and promises. In Nalongo's, one twin cried softly while the other pretended not to hear. In Sabina's, prayers filled the dark. In Zainab's, a mother packed a small bag she pretended was nothing. In Amara's, a young woman pressed her hands to her stomach and wondered what kind of world a child was entering. In Mirembe's, numbers and names were memorized carefully, and in the main house, Aduka slept deeply, convinced his household was disciplined, his legacy secure. He did not hear the resentment breathing through the walls, but it was there, awake and growing. The summons came after supper. Aduka's messenger did not explain. He never did. He simply stood at the center of the compound and said, The father calls the wives. Namukala's fingers paused mid-fold. Akinyi's smile sharpened. Mirembe lifted her head slowly, already counting possibilities. One by one, the wives entered the main house and sat on the mats in a half circle. Aduka sat above them, his back straight, his face unreadable. A single oil lamp burned between them, its flame trembling. You called us, Namukala said gently. Aduka nodded. I have been watching this house. Silence. The children are restless, he continued. The women are talkative. This does not please me. Akinyi laughed lightly. Children will always be children. Not in my house, Aduka replied. In my house, children are heirs. That word landed heavily. Nalongo shifted. Sabina clasped her hands. Amara swallowed. Heirs to what? Zainab asked quietly. Aduka's eyes moved to her, slow and deliberate. To my name, to my land, to what I have built. And daughters? Amara asked before she could stop herself. The room stilled. Aduka studied her, then said evenly, Daughters marry well. That is their inheritance. Zainab's jaw tightened. Namukala lowered her gaze. Akinyi leaned forward. You speak as though decisions have already been made. They have, Aduka replied. Mirembe spoke carefully. Then perhaps it would help the house to hear them. Aduka smiled. You always did like clarity. He stood. I will not allow confusion to rot what I have worked for, he said. From today, I will begin preparing my successor. Nalongo gasped softly. Already? I am not dead, Aduka snapped, but I am not foolish. Namukala looked up. And who have you chosen? Aduka turned to her. That is not your question to ask. Her voice remained calm, but it cost her. It is when I carried your first son on my back while you chased grain and glory. Akini inhaled sharply. Sabina murmured, Peace. Aduka's face hardened. Do not remind me of poverty in front of my wives. Namukala's lips trembled, but she did not look away. Then, do not forget who stood with you inside it. For a moment, the room felt too small for his anger. Then he sat back down. This is why, he said coldly, I will not choose based on sentiment. Later, outside the house, the wives scattered like leaves after a storm. Akinyi grabbed Mirembe's arm. You knew? Mirembe removed her hand gently. I suspected. Which son? Akinyi demanded. Yours? Mirembe met her gaze. Which one do you fear? Akinyi scoffed. I fear none. That is a lie, Mirembe said softly and walked away. Nalongo paced her doorway, wringing her hands. They will tear each other apart, she said to Namukala. The boys already look at one another like enemies. They have been taught to, Namukala replied. Nalongo lowered her voice. Which one do you think he favors? Namukala hesitated. Favor changes. Nalongo's voice broke. He looks at my stronger twin as though the other does not exist. Namukala touched her arm. Then, see the one he does not. In Akinyi's house, her sons gathered close. He will choose one of us, the eldest said confidently. He must, the second added. We are many. We are loud. He cannot ignore us. Akinyi nodded. You will not wait to be chosen. The youngest frowned. What do you mean? She leaned down. You will make yourselves impossible to overlook. In Zainab's house, her daughter whispered, Mother, if father chooses a son, will we leave? Zainab pulled her close. We will decide our own living. But where? Zainab stared into the darkness. Anywhere fear does not raise children. Amara sat alone, tears slipping quietly down her cheeks. Namukala found her there. He did not look at me, Amara whispered. Not once. Namukala sat beside her. He was looking at the future he wants. That future rarely includes feelings. Amara pressed her palm to her belly. Then I must protect my child myself. Namukala nodded. Now you are learning. That night, Aduka walked the compound alone. He paused outside Namukala's door. For a moment, just a moment, his hand hovered in the air, uncertain. Then he lowered it. Inside, Kalema whispered, Mother, if father asked me to fight my brothers, Namukala pulled him close. You will not fight. But what if she held his face? Listen to me. There are battles that make men powerful and battles that make them empty. Choose carefully. Outside, Aduka moved on. The oil lamps dimmed, and with one announcement, the house that smiled had become a house that waited, each heart listening for footsteps, each silence sharpening into intent. The war had not begun, but everyone now knew it was coming. The next morning did not feel like morning, it felt like waiting. The children were summoned to the open yard after breakfast, not by Aduka himself, never by him when something important was about to happen, but by his voice carried through others. Tell the boys to come, he had said, all of them who can stand without being carried. The wives watched from their doorways as the sons gathered, barefoot on packed earth. The girls hovered at the edges, unsure whether to stay or disappear. Kalema stood near the back again. Aduka noticed. He always noticed. You, Aduka said, pointing. Come forward. Kalema stepped ahead, his face calm but pale. Why do you hide? Aduka asked. I am not hiding, Kalema replied. I am standing. A ripple of suppressed laughter ran through Akini's sons. Aduka raised a hand. Silence snapped tight. Words, Aduka said, are tools. Use them carefully. Kalema nodded. Yes, father. Aduka turned to the others. You are many. That makes you weak if you do not learn order. Akini's eldest son grinned. We already have order, father. We know who is strongest. Aduka looked at him slowly. Strength without restraint embarrasses a house. The boy's grin faded. Today, Aduka continued, you will walk together. Nalongo's stronger twin whispered, together? His brother whispered back, that never lasts. They were sent to clear a new section of land behind the compound. Heavy soil, thorn roots, stones buried deep enough to break fingers. Do not compete, Aduka warned. I will see. He did not need to add the rest. I will punish. The wives gathered near the grinding stones, pretending to work. Akini leaned towards Sabina. This is how it begins. Sabina frowned. With work? With watching, Akini replied. Mirembe said quietly, with rules that change depending on who is winning. Namukala said nothing. Her eyes followed Kalema. By midday, sweat soaked the boy's clothes. Nalongo's weaker twin struggled with the stone too large for him. I can help, Kalema offered, stepping closer. Before the boy could answer, Akini's second son shoved Kalema aside. He didn't ask you. Kalema steadied himself. He doesn't need to. The shove came harder this time. Aduka's voice rang out. Enough! Everyone froze. He walked toward them slowly, deliberately. Why is the work uneven? He asked. Akini's son spoke quickly. Some people are not pulling their weight. Aduka looked at Kalema. Is that true? Kalema hesitated. Namukala's breath caught. No, Kalema said. It is not. Aduka's eyebrow lifted. Then why does your brother struggle while you stand nearby? Kalema swallowed. Because no one should break themselves just to impress you. The yard went silent. Too silent. Aduka stepped closer until they were face to face. Say that again, he said softly. Kalema raised his head. I said no one should hurt themselves to be seen. Aduka stared at him for a long moment. Then he turned away. You, he said, pointing at Akini's son. Help him. Shock flickered across the boy's face. Father? Now? The boy obeyed, humiliated. Akine's nails dug into her palms. Namukala exhaled slowly, shakily. Later, Aduka called Kalema to the main house. The wives pretended not to listen. You embarrass me, Aduka said, once they were alone. I spoke the truth, Kalema replied. Truth is not your work, Aduka snapped. Obedience is. Kalema met his gaze. You did not raise me to be blind. Aduka laughed, once sharp and bitter. I raised you to survive. Survive what? Kalema asked. Aduka's jaw tightened. The world. The world, Kalema said. Or you. The slap came fast. Outside, Namukala flinched as if it had struck her. Inside, Kalema did not cry. Aduka stared at his hand afterward, as if surprised by it. You will not speak to me like that again, he said. Kalema nodded. Yes, father. But something had shifted. They both felt it. That night the wives gathered again, uninvited, unannounced. This cannot continue, Zainab said. He is turning them into enemies. Akini scoffed. Men are enemies before they are brothers. Nalongo's voice trembled. My sons barely look at each other anymore. Sabina whispered, perhaps this is God's will. Namukala stood. Do not use God to excuse cruelty. Sabina looked up sharply. You think you know better than I know what fear does to children, Namukala said, because I'm watching it. Amara spoke softly. What if he chooses soon? Mirembe folded her hands. Then the house will burn quietly. Akini smiled. Oh, finally be honest. Zainab shook her head. There is nothing honest about raising sons to hurt each other for love. Silence followed. Namukala said, He was not always like this. Akinyi laughed. Men are only kind when they are still becoming something. That night, Aduka lay awake. He told himself the household needed discipline. That pain was instruction. That sons were sharpened by struggle. Still, Kalima's words echoed in his mind. No one should hurt themselves to be seen. He turned to the side and shut his eyes harder. In 7 houses around him, mothers whispered to children. Boys dreamed of victory or escape. Girls learned the shape of silence, and the games had begun. Not with drums or declarations, but with small wounds, quiet choices, and a father teaching his sons exactly how love is earned. The scream came before dawn. It cut through Aduka's compound like a blade, sharp, raw, unmistakable. Namukala was the first to step outside, wrapper half tied, heart already pounding. Other doors opened almost instantly. Fear moved faster than sleep ever could. It was Nalongo's house. No, 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 wake up! Nalongo's voice broke as she screamed again. Wake up, my son, please! Women ran, children followed, despite being shouted back. Aduka emerged last, his face already hardened, already preparing for control. What is this noise? He demanded. But when he entered Nalongo's house, the words died in his throat. The weaker twin lay still on the mat, too still. His small chest did not rise. His mouth hung slightly open as if he had tried to speak and failed. Nalongo knelt beside him, shaking his shoulders. Talk to me, she begged. Even if it is to insult me, talk. Namukala touched the boy's cheek. Cold, she pulled her hand back slowly. Akini sucked in a breath. He was fine last night, Sabina whispered. The gods have gone mad. Zainab covered her daughter's eyes. Aduka stood frozen. How did this happen? He asked. No one answered. Nalongo turned on him suddenly, eyes wild. You tell me, you are the one who made them walk until their hands bled. You are the one who made them compete for your shadow. Aduka's voice thundered. Watch how you speak to me. My son is dead, Nalongo screamed. I have no words left to watch. Silence fell hard. The stronger twin stood in the corner, shaking, his eyes fixed on his brother's body. I told him to rest, the boy whispered. I told him, but he said father would see him if he kept going. The words landed like stones. Namukala closed her eyes. Amara pressed a hand to her mouth, fighting nausea. Akini spoke carefully. Children get sick? Mirembe looked at the boy. Not like this. Aduka cleared his throat. Send for the healer. Zainab shook her head. He's already gone. Sabina fell to her knees. This is a test, she whispered. The gods are testing us. Nalongo laughed, a sound so broken it frightened everyone. A test? She said. Then what was my son? Practice? Aduka stepped forward. Enough. We will mourn with dignity. Nalongo looked up at him. You care about dignity now? He stiffened. You will not disgrace this house. She stood, towering over him in grief. This house disgraced itself when it taught children that love must be earned with pain. Akinyi snapped. Careful! Grief makes people reckless. Nalongo turned on her. And favoritism makes graves. The stronger twin began to sob. Namukala pulled him into her arms. By midday, the compound buzzed, not with drums, but whispers. People gathered at the gate. Neighbors murmured. Someone cried openly. Is it true? They say the boy collapsed. They say the father works his children like men. Reputation, once polished, began to chip. An elder arrived, face grave. We heard there was a death. Aduka forced calm into his voice. A child fell ill. The elder glanced at the boy's hands, raw, blistered. Illness leaves marks, he said, but so does labor. Aduka's jaw tightened. Later, as women prepared the body, Mirembe pulled Aduka aside. This will not stay inside the compound. she warned quietly. It must, he replied. It won't, she insisted. Too many eyes, too many questions. He snapped. Are you suggesting I killed my own child? She met his gaze. I am suggesting that control has consequences. He turned away. That night the wives gathered without being called. This changes everything, Zainab said. People will talk. They already are, Akinye replied, and they will blame someone. Sabina clutched her beads. We must pray. We must submit. Nalongo's voice came from the shadows. Submit to what? The next burial? Silence. Amara whispered, what if it was not sickness? All eyes turned to her. What do you mean? Namukala asked gently. Amara hesitated. He drank porridge late. I saw someone leave the kitchen angry. Akinye's head snapped up. Who? Amara shook. I don't know. Nalongo's breathing grew uneven. Someone wanted my son gone? No, Mirembe said carefully. Someone may have wanted the competition reduced. The room felt suddenly smaller. Akinye laughed sharply. You accuse us now? Zainab stood. You all accused without speaking. Sabina whispered, God forbid. Namukala spoke at last. Until the truth is known, every silence will sound like guilt. Outside, Aduka stood alone. For the first time, the compound did not bend to him. He looked at the small body wrapped in cloth. This was not my intention, he murmured to the night, to himself. No one answered. The death of one quiet child had done what no argument, no rebellion, no truth ever had. It exposed the cost of Aduka's rule, and from that night on, the household no longer fought only for attention. And somewhere between grief and suspicion, the order of Aduka's world cracked, not loudly, but enough that everyone felt it shift beneath their feet. The burial was quiet, too quiet for a household that once loved drums. No praise singers came, no boasting prayers were spoken. The grave was dug behind the old mango tree, where the children used to sit and count ants when they pretended not to fight. Nalongo did not cry during the burial. She stood stiff, eyes dry, holding the hand of her remaining twin as though it might disappear too. Aduka watched the soil cover the small body and felt something unfamiliar press against his ribs. Not guilt, fear. That night, no lamps were lit in Nalongo's house. Namukala went to her anyway. She found Nalongo sitting on the floor, her back against the wall, the surviving twin asleep with his head on her lap. You should rest, Namukala said gently. Nalongo laughed without humor. Rest from what? Breathing? Namukala sat beside her. Talk to me. Nalongo stared ahead. If I talk, I will scream. Then scream, Namukala said. This house has heard worse. Nalongo's voice cracked. They will say I was careless. Who? Everyone, Nalongo whispered. They will say I favored one son over the other, that I let the weaker one die. Namukala shook her head. No. Nalongo turned to her sharply. You think grief protects a woman here? Namukala said nothing. They both knew the answer. Across the compound, Akini paced like a caged animal. This is dangerous, she hissed to Mirembe. A dead child invites inspection. Mirembe folded her arms. Inspection invites truth. Akini stopped. Be careful. About what? About sounding like you welcome this. Mirembe's eyes were steady. I welcome clarity. Chaos follows lies, not truth. Akini scoffed. Truth has never fed anyone in this house. No, Mirembe replied. But silence just buried the child. Akini's mouth opened, then closed. Sabina knelt in prayer long after midnight. Zainab stood near the doorway. Your God is quiet, Zainab said softly. Sabina did not look up. God speaks when he is ready. Zainab crossed her arms. Then why does he always wait until children are dead? Sabina finally looked at her. Do not blaspheme. Do not make excuses, Zainab replied. They are not the same thing. Sabina's voice trembled. If we question everything, what holds us together? Zainab answered gently. Nothing is holding us together now. In the main house, Aduka sat alone. He had dismissed everyone, even the children, even his favored silence. When Namukala entered without knocking, he did not tell her to leave. You should not be here, he said. She sat anyway. The compound is restless, she said. They're asking questions. They always do, he replied. They will forget. Namukala looked at him. Children are not grain Aduka. They do not spoil and disappear quietly. His jaw tightened. You think this is my fault? I think, she said carefully, that this house has been taught to believe love must be earned with suffering. He snapped. I taught discipline. And they heard fear, she replied. Silence stretched between them. Then he said, very quietly, they are saying someone poisoned the boy. Namukala's eyes widened. Who is saying this? Everyone, Aduka said, and no one. She shook her head. That lie will kill more than one child. His voice rose. Then tell me the truth. Did you see anything? No, she said, but I know this. If suspicion becomes our language, there will be no family left to save. He laughed bitterly. Family? Look around you. This is an army waiting to turn. The next morning, the children were not sent to work. They gathered in small groups, whispering. Mother says we should stay inside. Nalongo's surviving twin whispered to Kalema. Kalema knelt beside him. You are safe. The boy looked at him. Are you sure? Kalema hesitated. No, but I will stand with you. Across the yard, Akini's eldest son spoke sharply to his brothers. Watch your words. Watch your food. Trust no one. One of them whispered, Did father know? Akini overheard and slapped the ground. Enough! By afternoon, the elders arrived unannounced. Aduka received them standing. This death has disturbed the village, the eldest said. A tragedy? Aduka replied. A pattern, another added. Aduka's eyes flashed. Choose your words carefully. The elder met his gaze. So should you have. They asked to speak to the wives, all of them. For the first time, Aduka hesitated. That evening, the wives gathered again, this time under the open sky. Nalongo spoke first. I want answers, she said. Not prayers, not silence. Akinye crossed her arms. And if the answers shame this house? Nalongo's voice was steady. Then the shame was already here. Amara whispered, what if one of us did this? No one denied it. Mirembe said softly, then the house is already broken. Zainab looked around. Or it is finally telling the truth. Sabina covered her face. God forgive us. Namukala stood last. This death has changed the rules, she said. No one is safe, not mothers, not sons, not even Aduka. All eyes turned toward the main house, where Aduka stood in the doorway, listening. For the first time in his life, no command rose to his tongue, because power could not silence grief, and fear could not undo suspicion. The child's grave sat behind them all, small, quiet, undeniable. And the household of Aduka had crossed into something new, not rebellion, not justice, but reckoning. The second death did not come with a scream. It came with a bowl. A cracked clay bowl lay on its side outside Sabina's house, thin porridge soaking into the earth like a stain that would not wash away. A child's sandal rested beside it, abandoned mid-step. Zainab was the one who noticed. Why is the porridge outside? She asked, no one in particular. Sabina stepped out, wiping her hands on her wrapper. Which porridge? Zainab pointed. Sabina's face was drained of color. My son, she whispered. He was hungry. I told him to wait. She rushed inside. The silence that followed was worse than any scream. Then Sabina's voice rose, thin, fractured, unrecognizable. He won't wake. The compound erupted. Aduka arrived to find Sabina clutching her son's body, rocking back and forth like a woman trying to unlearn gravity. Open your eyes, she begged. I prayed already. I prayed before you ate. Namukala knelt beside her, pressing two fingers to the boy's neck. Nothing. This is not an illness, Mirembe said quietly, scanning the room. Not like this. Akinyi stood rigid in the doorway. Another one? Nalongo's surviving twin burst into tears. No, Nalongo whispered hoarsely. Not again. Not again. Aduka said nothing. His mouth opened, but no command came out. Sabina looked up suddenly, eyes wild. Who touched his food? She demanded. No one answered. I boiled it myself, she said. I prayed over it. I watched it. Her gaze flicked from face to face. Who came here? Zainab spoke slowly. Everyone comes everywhere here. That is not an answer, Sabina snapped. Akini folded her arms. Careful, sister. Grief is loud. Sabina stood abruptly, clutching her dead child tighter. Grief does not kill twice. The air went still. Outside the compound, voices gathered. Too many. Whispers had turned into footsteps. Neighbors stood openly now, not pretending to pass by. An elder pushed his way in, face dark with concern. This is the second child, he said. Aduka finally spoke. Watch your tongue. The elder did not flinch. The village is already watching. A murmur rippled through the crowd. They say the house is cursed. They say the children are paying for the father's sins. They say wives poison wives. Aduka's fists clenched. Silence! He roared. But silence did not obey him anymore. Inside, the wives gathered like women who no longer recognized each other. Nalongo pointed at the bowl. That looks like millet from the lower store. Mirembe's eyes sharpened. How do you know? I know, Nalongo said. I packed it once. Akinyi scoffed. Now everyone is an expert. Sabina turned on Mirembe. You keep the stores, you count everything. Mirembe did not raise her voice. I count grain, not sins. Then count this, Sabina screamed, gesturing to her son. Amara trembled. What if it wasn't meant for him? The room froze. Zainab whispered, Say that again. Amara shook her head. I I don't know. I just mean, what if someone mixed something without knowing who would eat it? Akinyi laughed sharply. Convenient ignorance. Nalongo backed away slowly. This house is eating itself. Aduka stepped forward. Enough, he said, but his voice lacked its old certainty. There will be no accusations. Sabina stared at him. Two of our children are dead. They will not be used to destroy my name, he said. That did it. Namukala rose. Your name, she said softly. He turned to her. Do not start. She did anyway. Two children are in the ground, Aduka. If your name still stands taller than their lives, then the house is already lost. The crowd outside fell quiet, listening. Aduka looked around and realized, too late, that the walls were no longer protecting him. The elders conferred in low voices. This cannot stay private, one said. Not anymore. Aduka snapped, This is my household. And it is our village, another replied. When children die like this, we ask questions. Sabina clutched her son tighter. Ask them. Ask all of them. Her eyes locked on Akinyi. Akinyi stepped forward. Do not look at me. Nalongo whispered. We all look guilty now. Zainab spoke clearly, her voice carrying beyond the gate. Then perhaps the guilt is shared. A hush fell. By nightfall, the second grave was dug beside the first. Two small mounds of earth. Too close, too fresh. Children were pulled indoors by trembling mothers. Doors were barred, not against outsiders, but against each other. Aduka stood alone again, staring at the graves. They are saying the house is poisoned, Mirembe said quietly beside him. He did not answer. They are saying no wife is innocent, she continued. They are saying you have lost control. He laughed once, dry, broken. I built this house with fear, he said. I did not think it would learn how to bite. Mirembe looked at him. Fear always eats last. That night, the compound did not just whisper, it talked loudly. Accusations slipped through walls. Children cried openly. Neighbors stood unashamed at the gate. The perfect household of Aduka had cracked wide enough for everyone to see inside. And whatever had killed the children, whether poison, cruelty, or silence, it had succeeded in something far greater. It had turned reputation into suspicion, unity into evidence, and love, once scarce, into a question no one dared ask aloud anymore. Because now the household was no longer asking who would inherit, they were asking who would survive. Morning did not rise gently, it arrived like an accusation. The compound was already full. Elders seated beneath the mango tree, women from neighboring homes standing openly at the gate, children pulled close to their mothers as if the ground itself had grown teeth. For the first time in Aduka's life, his household was not private. Aduka stood at the center, bareheaded, jaw tight. The wives sat behind him, no longer arranged by rank or favor. Grief had flattened hierarchy. An elder cleared his throat. We are not here to punish, he said. A murmur of disbelief followed. Nalongo laughed bitterly. Then why are you all sitting like judges? The elder met her gaze. Because two children are dead. Sabina clutched her wrapper. My son was righteous, she whispered. He prayed before every meal. A woman from the crowd called out, Prayer does not neutralize poison. Sabina's head snapped up. Are you accusing me? I am accusing the house, the woman replied. Children do not die twice by accident. Aduka raised his hand. This gathering will not turn into chaos. An elder sighed. It already has, Aduka. Control left with the first grave. Akinyi stood abruptly. If we are here to speak, then let us speak plainly. Namukala turned to her. Careful. No, Akinyi said sharply. I am tired of caring. She faced the elders. People are whispering that one of us poisoned the children to weaken competition. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Nalongo screamed, Which one of us would kill her own blood for a man's favor? Zainab said quietly, A woman taught that love is scarce might do terrible things. Akinyi spun toward her. You foreign woman. Zainab did not flinch. Say it loudly. Let them hear how easily blame travels. Sabina stood unsteadily, tears streaking her face. My son ate from my bowl, she said. If there was poison, then it was meant for me. Mirembe's eyes sharpened. Unless the bowl was switched. Silence. Nalongo whispered. Children swap food all the time. Sabina shook her head violently. No, he was obedient. He waited. A small voice spoke from the back. He shared it with me once. Everyone turned. It was Nalongo's surviving twin. He shared when father wasn't looking. The boy said softly, We were hungry. Nalongo's breath caught. Why didn't you tell me? The boy lowered his head. Because I didn't want to get into trouble. A collective shudder moved through the crowd. An elder rubbed his forehead. This house has trained its children to fear kindness. Aduka exploded. Enough! You speak as if I poured the poison myself. The elder replied calmly. Power does not need to hold the cup to be responsible for the thirst. A woman from the crowd stepped forward. People are saying the house is cursed. Another added. They are saying Aduka's wealth was built on bones. Aduka turned sharply. Lies? Namukala stood then, slowly, deliberately. Lies grow where truth is starved, she said. Aduka stared at her. You too. She met his gaze without fear. I buried a child today who learned that survival meant silence. That lesson came from you, the crowd murmured. Akini scoffed. Now everyone is innocent and Aduka is the monster? Namukala replied calmly. Monsters are not born, they are rewarded. An elder rose. Until this matter is understood, the council orders, Aduka interrupted. Orders that no child eats alone, no wife cooks alone. Stores will be monitored. Akinye laughed harshly. So we are prisoners now? You are suspects, the elder said plainly. Amara began to cry. My child is not even born yet. What kind of house is he coming into? Zainab whispered. One that eats its future. As the elders rose to leave, one turned back. Aduka, he said, the village once admired your household. Aduka straightened. And now? Now, the elder replied, we are afraid of it. That sentence followed him like a shadow. That night, the wives did not retreat quietly. Akinyi slammed her door open. Someone is lying, Sabina screamed. Someone is evil. Nalongo sobbed. Someone took my child. Zainab shouted, or something in this house taught death how to walk. Mirembe spoke last, her voice dangerously calm. Until the truth is known, every one of us is both mother and suspect. Silence fell. Aduka stood in the doorway, watching his empire fracture in real time. For years, he said slowly, this house feared me. No one answered. He swallowed. Now it despises itself. Namukala said quietly, that is what fear becomes when it outlives obedience. Outside, neighbors whispered freely. Inside, children clung to one another. And Aduka, once admired, once unquestioned, stood in the center of a household that had turned into evidence, not of murder alone, but of what happens when power is fed more faithfully than love. They didn't plan the meeting. It just happened because none of them wanted to go back inside. Kato was the one who sat first, under the granary shade where the ground was always cool. He picked at the dirt with a stick, not really drawing anything, just digging holes and filling them again. Sanyo came next. She hovered. You're not supposed to sit there, she said. Kato shrugged. My brother used to. That shut her up. She sat too. One by one, the others drifted over. Not all of them, just the ones who didn't know what to do with their hands anymore. Luca came late, eyes red. Musa followed, pretending he hadn't been crying. Nambi leaned against the granary wall, arms crossed, pretending she wasn't watching all of them. For a long time, nobody spoke. Then Sanyu said, very quietly, my mother says I shouldn't play with you anymore. Kato didn't look up. Because I'm unlucky? She nodded. That's stupid, Luca muttered. My aunt said the same thing. Sanyu rushed to explain. She said death walks in pairs. Musa snorted. Then it's already walking in our house. They all went quiet again. Kato finally said, do you think they know? Know what? Luca asked. That something is wrong. Nambi laughed, sharp and short. Of course they know. Then why are they shouting at each other instead of fixing it? Sanyu asked. Nambi looked at her. Because shouting feels like doing something. Musa frowned. You sound like my mother. That's because your mother learned too late, Nambi said. Inside the compound, Aduka's voice boomed suddenly. Who left this door open? Everyone flinched. Luca whispered, if he finds us here. He won't, Nambi said. He doesn't come behind the granary. Why? Because it smells like work. That earned a weak laugh from Musa. Kato looked up then. Do you think father loved my brother? The question landed badly. No one knew how to touch it. Sanyu said, he named him. So? Kato snapped. He names goats? Immediately, his face crumpled. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Nambi crouched beside him. You can say it. Kato wiped his nose with his sleeve. He only talked to us when people were watching. No one argued. That evening, Aduka called for the children, not gently. They stood lined up, uneven and dusty, some still chewing half finished food. Aduka paced in front of them, hands clasped behind his back like always. I hear you have been gathering, he said. No one answered. I asked a question. Musa swallowed. Yes, father. For what purpose? Silence. Aduka stopped in front of Kato. You. Kato stared at the ground. Look at me. Slowly, Kato lifted his eyes. Why are you gathering? Aduka asked. Kato's voice was small. Because it's quieter outside. A few wives gasped. Aduka frowned. Quieter than what? Kato hesitated. His lip trembled. Than inside the house. Aduka turned sharply. Who put these ideas in your head? Nambi spoke before thinking. No one. We have ears. Aduka's gaze snapped to her. You are becoming disrespectful. She lifted her chin. You are becoming loud. A slap hung in the air, but it never came. Instead, Aduka said, You will all stop these meetings. Why? Sanyu blurted. Her mother sucked in breath. Sanyu? But Aduka looked at the girl. Because they invite nonsense. Sanyu whispered, My brother died. The compound went dead silent. Aduka said stiffly, And we are handling that. Kato's voice cracked. By pretending? That was when Namukala stepped forward. That is enough, she said. Not to the children, to Aduka. Later, that night, the children slept together without asking. No one stopped them. They lay on mats too close, feet tangled, listening to the adults argue in low voices that kept rising and falling like bad weather. Sanyu whispered, Do you think we'll die too? Musa hesitated. I don't think so. That wasn't an answer. He sighed. I think if we stay together, maybe not. Kato turned on his side. If I die, tell my brother I wasn't scared. Lucas snapped. Don't say that. Why? Because then it might happen. They went quiet. Nambi stared at the ceiling. If father asks, we didn't plan this. Plan what? Sanyo asked. This, Nambi said, being less afraid. Outside, Aduka sat alone. He could hear the children breathing together through the thin wall. The sound unsettled him more than shouting ever had. Namukala stood beside him. They don't trust you. He didn't answer. They're watching now, she continued. Children who watch don't forget. Aduka rubbed his face. I kept order. Namukala nodded. You forgot warmth. He whispered almost to himself. I didn't know. She looked at him sadly. That's the problem. You stopped knowing. Inside the hut, Kato laughed softly at something Musa said. Aduka flinched because the laughter did not include him. And for the first time, he understood. Not fully, not cleanly, but enough to hurt. His house was learning to live without his fear. That was the beginning of the end. The scream came before dawn, not the kind that rises and falls. This one cut straight through the compound, sharp and panicked, like someone had been stabbed by fear itself. My child! Doors flew open, feet slapped the ground. Someone knocked over a water pot. Aduka was already on his feet when Sabina ran past him, wrapper loose, hair undone. He's not waking, she cried. He's burning. They crowded into Sabina's hut. Too many bodies, too much breath. The boy lay curled on his side, lips pale, sweat soaking the mat beneath him. His chest rattled when he breathed. Musa knelt first. He's shaking. Sabina touched her son's face and screamed again. Why is he cold and hot at the same time? Namukala pushed through. Give him space. Aduka stood frozen at the doorway. What did he eat? Sabina looked up at him, eyes wild. The same food we all ate. Zainab said slowly. No, he ate late. Everyone turned to her. He said he wasn't hungry. Zainab continued. He ate after sunset. Aduka snapped. Where is the food? Mirembe answered quietly. Gone. That was when the panic truly set in. Call the healer, Namukala said. Aduka hesitated. We don't need. The child is dying, she cut in. Call him. No one waited for Aduka's permission. Luca ran barefoot into the dark. Inside the hut, Sabina rocked back and forth. He was fine, he was laughing. Her son convulsed suddenly, a sharp jerk. Sabina screamed his name. Musa whispered, Father, please. Aduka stepped forward at last. He knelt, placed a hand on the boy's chest, and pulled it back as if burned. Why does this keep happening? He muttered. No one answered him. The healer arrived smelling of smoke and crushed leaves. Old, hunched, eyes sharper than his back suggested. He knelt beside the boy, sniffed his breath, pressed fingers under his tongue. This is poison, he said flatly. Sabina let out a sound that wasn't a word. Aduka straightened. Can you save him? The healer glanced around the hut. If the poison wants to be argued with. What does that mean? Nalongo snapped. It means, the healer said, that some poisons are meant to warn, not kill. Zainab whispered, Warn whom? The healer didn't answer. He ground herbs quickly, mixed them with water, and forced the liquid into the boy's mouth. Hold him, he ordered. Sabina obeyed, sobbing into her son's hair. Minutes passed. Too long, too quiet. Then the boy gagged. Everyone jumped. He vomited dark, bitter smelling liquid. The healer nodded once. He will live. Sabina collapsed against the wall, crying openly. But relief did not come because the healer was still kneeling. Still thinking. Who else has been sick? He asked. No one spoke. Answer me. Nalongo said softly. Two boys. The healer looked up slowly. Only boys? The room went still. Sabina froze. What? Zainab's face was drained of color. No girl has fallen ill, Nambi whispered. Not even once. The healer stood. Then this is not hunger. This is not chance. Aduka's voice was hoarse. What are you saying? I am saying, the healer replied, that someone is stealing your line. The words fell like stones. Outside, whispers spread faster than fire. The sons, only the sons. Someone wants Aduka broken. Akinyi laughed once. Hi, cracked. So now we are witches? Mirembe shot back. Someone is a murderer. Zainab raised her hands. Do not look at me like that. Nalongo screamed. Then who should we look at? Sabina stood shaking. Every bowl is a weapon now. Amara clutched her belly. My child, if it's a boy. She stopped, unable to finish. That night no one slept. The children were moved again, this time by mothers who refused to ask permission. Zainab packed quietly. Nalongo watched her. You're leaving, Nalongo said. For now, Zainab replied. Until the ground stops swallowing sons. Akinyi scoffed. Running makes you guilty. Zainab turned on her. Staying makes us stupid. Sabina spoke from the corner. I will not bury another son. Aduka entered then. No one is leaving. Silence. Namukala faced him. You cannot lock grief inside walls. This house is under threat, he said. Splitting weakens us. Mirembe laughed bitterly. We are already weak. We are eating each other. Aduka's voice rose. This ends now. Zainab lifted her bag. No, it has begun. Kato tugged at Namukala's sleeve. Are we going to die too? She knelt, held his face. Not if I can walk. Aduka watched that, watched mothers choosing movement over obedience, and something inside him cracked. You will ruin me, he said quietly. Namukala stood. You were already ruined when your sons became expendable. That one hurt him because it was true. By morning, two wives had left. By noon, rumors had names. By evening, Aduka's compound, once admired, was spoken of with fear, and inside it, A boy slept fitfully, saved by chance, surrounded by mothers who had learned something dangerous, that staying might kill them. And Aduka, wealthy, feared, once unmovable, stood in the middle of a household, no longer waiting for his command. The elders came when the sun was already hot enough to make people irritable. That mattered. It meant no one could pretend this was ceremonial. No one could dress grief up as dignity. Sweat made everyone honest. Aduka was arguing with one of the boys about a missing cup when he saw them at the gate. Three elders. No greeting, no jokes. People noticed immediately. A woman carrying cassava stopped mid-step. A neighbor leaned on the fence and didn't bother pretending anymore. Aduka straightened. What is this? Sembaja, the eldest, didn't answer right away. He looked around the compound slowly, like someone counting cracks in a wall. You have buried sons, he said finally, and nearly buried another. Aduka's jaw tightened. This house is mourning. Sabina stepped forward. This house is bleeding. Aduka turned sharply. Mind yourself. She laughed, a short, ugly sound. My children are dead. I have no manners left. The healer stood behind the elders, shifting his weight. Aduka noticed him and scowled. You again? The healer nodded. The boy lived, barely. A murmur ran through the crowd. Nalongo whispered, Thank God. The healer shook his head. Thank chance. That shut everyone up. Behind the granary, Kalema crouched low. He knew better than to be there. He stayed anyway. This is poison, the healer said, rubbing his hands together like he was cold. Not sickness, not spirits. Aduka snapped. You've said that already. Yes, the healer replied. And more boys have fallen since. Akini scoffed. So which one of us are you here to accuse? The healer hesitated. That hesitation stretched too long. Namokala felt it before anyone looked at her. That old tightening in her chest, the one she'd learned to ignore. Speak, Aduka said. The healer cleared his throat. The poison was placed carefully, in food meant for boys. Zainab frowned. That makes no sense. It does, the healer replied. In this house. Silence. Sabina whispered, Boys eat measured. Nalongo added softly, Girls eat freely. A few women shifted uncomfortably. Aduka snapped, What are you implying? The healer met his eyes. That someone knows your rules very well. Aduka laughed once. Every wife knows my rules. Yes, the healer said, but only one enforced them before you did. Eyes turned slowly. Namukala felt them like weight. She did not look up. Akini shook her head. No, don't do that. Do what? Namukala thought. Sembaja spoke carefully. Namukala. She lifted her head then. Calm, too calm. Yes, you handle the stores, the elder said. You portion the food. She nodded. I always have. And you decide who eats when. Yes. And you were the first wife, he continued, before discipline became fear. Namukala smiled faintly. Is that a crime now? Sabina's voice broke. My sons trusted you. That did it. Namukala inhaled sharply, like someone punched in the chest. I didn't mean for them to die, she said suddenly. The words fell badly. Wrong order, wrong timing. Aduka froze. What did you say? Namukala swallowed. I said I didn't mean for them to die. The compound exploded. Sabina screamed. Nalongo wailed. Someone shouted her name like a curse. Aduka staggered back a step. Namukala. She looked at him then. Really looked. I was trying to stop you, she said. Kato's ears rang. You kept marrying, Namukala continued, voice shaking now. You kept counting sons like coins. Aduka shouted. You poisoned children. I weakened the lie, she snapped back. The lie that sons make men whole. Sabina lunged forward. My babies were not lessons. I trusted you. Elders rushed in to hold her. Namukala's voice dropped. I used small amounts, enough to frighten, enough to make you notice. Aduka whispered, You watched them suffer. She nodded once. Yes, that honesty hurt more than denial. The healer spoke quietly. The fasting made it worse. All eyes turned to Aduka. You ordered it, the healer continued. Longer hours, smaller portions. Aduka shook his head. That was discipline. No, the healer said. That was hunger. Namukala looked at Aduka, tears finally spilling. I did not expect death, he whispered. You expected obedience. She laughed bitterly. From you? Never. Sembaja sighed deeply. You both fed this. Aduka sank onto a stool. I trusted you. Namukala's shoulders sagged. I loved you. That was worse. Behind the granary, Kalema pressed his hands to his ears. Mother did it. Father helped. The elders stepped forward. Namukala, Sembaja said, you will come with us. She nodded. No resistance. As they took her arm, she looked back at the children's huts. Tell them, she whispered to Aduka. Tell them I was trying to save them. Aduka could not speak. Kalema ran. Not fast, just far enough. Behind him, Aduka's household cracked open, not from witchcraft, not from enemies, but from love twisted into control. And the boy learned something that would follow him forever. That even the gentlest hands can become dangerous when they are the only ones holding power. Years later, people still pointed when they passed the compound. Not openly, just small tilts of the chin, a pause in conversation, the kind of silence that remembers. The gates were no longer painted. The mango tree still stood, but no elders gathered beneath it. Children no longer played there in groups. If they laughed, it was quiet laughter, quick, cautious, learned. Aduka still lived there. He woke early, not because anyone expected him to, but because sleep no longer came easily. The house was too big now. Every sound echoed. A footstep here felt like a question. A cough there felt like an accusation. He no longer gave orders. When he spoke, people listened out of habit, then did as they pleased. The wives were gone, most of them. Sabina left first. She went back to her mother's home with the child who survived. She never sent word. Aduka did not ask. Nalongo followed months later, taking her remaining children and leaving at dawn. When Aduka noticed, their hut was already empty. The mats were gone. Even the cooking stones had been carried away. Zainab stayed the longest. You don't scare me anymore, she told him one evening as she packed. And that is worse than anger. He nodded. Will you return? She looked at him like the question itself offended her. No. Namukala was never seen again in the village. Some said she died in confinement. Others said she was taken far away, married off to a man who did not know her past. Aduka never learned the truth. He did not search. Some losses do not want to be found. The children scattered like seeds. Some returned to their mother's clans. Some were taken in by relatives. Some simply disappeared into other households where no one knew their surname. Kato did not return. Once, years later, a trader mentioned a boy on the northern road, quiet, observant, refusing his father's name. Aduka said nothing. He did not deserve the comfort of knowing. The village recovered faster than the house. New stories replaced the old ones. New men rose. New compounds were admired. People learned again how to praise without remembering. But sometimes, when a son fell ill, a mother would whisper, Watch the food. And the whisper came from Aduka's house, whether people said his name or not. Aduka aged quickly. Not in body, he was still strong, but in spirit. He learned to cook his own meals. He learned to fetch his own water. He learned how long a day feels when no one fears you enough to hurry. Once, a boy from the village asked him, "Grandfather, how many children do you have?" Aduka opened his mouth, closed it. "I had many," he said finally. "Where are they?" Aduka looked toward the road. "Living." That was the kindest answer he could give. On quiet evenings, he sat beneath the mango tree and listened to the village breathe. He thought about wealth, about sons, about the way admiration feels warm at first and then burns. He understood, too late, that a household is not built by control, but by safety, and that fear can hold people together for a while, but it cannot raise children, and it cannot survive the truth. When Aduka died, there were no drums, just a shallow grave, a few neighbors, no sons to stand at the head. Only the house remained, and even it slowly learned how to fall apart.